Hey guys, good to see everybody. This is a study guide for the Chapter 29 test. So I want you guys to watch this a few times, okay? And take your time, do good on the test. If you see a partial outline with the formation of secret alliances, conflict over colonies in Africa and Asia, military buildup, and of course the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, you know the best title for this outline would be Causes of World War I. Okay, so anytime you see that assassination, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, think World War I. Once again, if you see a bunch of event headlines in the news, know that they contributed to the outbreak or the beginning of World War I. Those headlines would be the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Bosnia. Serbian nationalism grows in the Balkans. Or Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy form the Triple Alliance. Notice that those all are going to cause tensions that could possibly start and did start World War I. Also, if you read a diary entry and it talks about weary soldiers, it talks about the mud in France, it talks about bombardments, it talks about machine guns, it talks about dead bodies and bones and barbed wire and people living in dugouts. Know that this is all associated with the trench warfare of World War I, which is characterized by the armies fighting in trenches. Next, after World War I, President Woodrow Wilson tried to get a peace treaty that would allow for self-determination in nations, but it's going to be rejected. His 14 points will be rejected, and there will not be self-determination for nations. Instead, the Treaty of Versailles will be imposed upon Germany. Woodrow Wilson and his 14 points, he wanted to do a lot of things to ensure there wouldn't be another war. And he wanted an establishment of a general association of the world's nations. And this would probably be a good idea, but it's not going to happen. Also, what idea was included in the Treaty of Versailles to show the intent of the Allies to punish the Central Powers in World War I? Well, the big thing is there was a war guilt clause where the Central Powers had to accept full responsibility and total responsibility for World War I. Another thing to know, the Ottoman Empire, they wanted to expand their borders, and it's going to depend upon their strategic location between Europe and Asia, and they're going to control trade routes. Also, the Treaty of Versailles, which was the peace treaty that ended World War I, is going to blame Germany and going to force the Germans to pay billions in war reparations. And that's going to basically just cause hate in Germany, which is going to lead to World War II, we're going to find out. Now, there are a lot of causes of World War I, but one of the biggest causes of World War I is this idea of militarism, where countries will be gearing up for the military and putting everything they have into their military and always being ready to fight at a moment's notice. So that's going to be a big cause of World War I, militarism. Now, before the war, there's going to be a lot of tensions in European countries. There's going to be the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. And they're going to be military alliances before the war breaks out. And Europe's going to be preparing for war, making alliances. Nextly, World War I, the Austria-Hungarian Empire and all these new states. Germany is going to lose control of its colonies. They're all going to be consequences of World War I. Another thing you're going to have to know, this is a review question. Human beings being born free and equal with the right to life, liberty, and duty of government to protect their natural rights as citizens, that's all from the Enlightenment. Another review question, the Sepoy Mutiny in India and the Boxer Rebellion in China and the Islamic Revolution in Iran were similar because they all resisted foreign influence in these countries. They all wanted to stop foreign influence. Another review question, Westernization of Russia came because Peter the Great, he emphasized westernizing and modernizing Russia. Another review question. Japan. One of the big things that occurred in Japan during the Meiji Restoration is increased industrialization and modernization. Another review question. Enlightenment philosophers. They encouraged political revolution with their support of the natural rights of man. And that was the belief that all men were created equal. The Meiji reformers in Japan and Peter the Great in Russia, they were similar because they all emphasized westernization and modernization. Now, Karl Marx and Charles Dickens, they wrote a lot about the social inequalities during the Industrial Revolution, and they believed that capitalism was evil. Prices are determined by supply and demand. That is capitalism. Governments not getting involved in business, that is laissez-faire capitalism. Here's another review question. Men are born free and equal. This all helped inspire the French Revolution, the natural rights of man. And a question, you're going to look at a map, and it says the British Empire at its height in 1910, and you're going to also see another map saying Japan's expanding empire. And these all deal with nationalism. The Japanese and the British wanted to take over more and more land to control natural resources and show their nationalistic pride. Watch this as many times as you need to. Good luck on that test, guys.